Hi everyone, this is Rick Rogers from Doomsday Tank Models. Apologize, it's been a couple weeks. Been out of town, took a couple trips, Reno, Nevada, and also Seascape, California. Went to the beach, met with friends and family. Good time. So we're back at it, and I just also yesterday, I hope everyone had a meaningful Remembrance Day for Memorial Day. And it was pleased. We went out to breakfast and saw some veterans at the booth, and was glad to give a donation. And they were giving out little poppies. That's what the veterans give out on Memorial Day. Very nice people. I have never had a bad experience with a veteran. It's always been an honor. I'm always intimidated by veterans because they, to me, are the real superstars. I don't get starstruck over athletes or Hollywood actors. It's military, current and former. I get tongue-tied. And it's just a form of deep respect on my part. And the sacrifice that we honored yesterday, Memorial Day, for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice on our soil and abroad. We spend one day honoring that. I wish it was more than one day. I'm just happy the businesses at the beach that had the flags out and stuff like that. That was good to see. Heartwarming. So anyway, I'm going to be getting to a subject. Might make this a short one, but we'll see how it goes. So we'll get into this. Okay, this is my IS-3 tank that's fully built out. Just needs to be painted and chemically stained the metal tracks. I made one of these already for my son Jonathan, and he has the version at his house in Santa Cruz. I was happy to do that for him. That was a lot of fun. I liked it so much. In fact, he chose the tank. I never really thought about the IS-3 until he chose it. And he's right. It's a badass looking tank. It just missed the conflict of World War II. But I think I've mentioned before, if you watched my videos before, it did make it in time for the Berlin Victory Parade in Germany. And that's where the generals, Allied generals, saw that and scared the crap out of them. Anyway, I've done a bunch of things on here. I've put a metal barrel, nice muzzle brake, all metal tracks, and metal grab handles. And I actually made them heavy duty, so you can grab this like this. If you use the plastic grab handles that come with it, do not touch them and try to handle them afterwards, because they will break easily. How do I know that? I know that when I made my son's tank. I try to use the plastic grab handles because I was under the gun making 3 models for Christmas. And one for a friend, one for my daughter, one for my son. My youngest daughter already made something for her earlier, so she already had that. So I was under the gun trying to get that done, and I tried to use the plastic grab handles, and I just tried to sand the seam lines off it, and they would just break in my hand. I mean, I was being as gentle as you could be. So I always recommend on grab handles that you try to upgrade and do some metal on that. You'll be very happy. If you're one like me that likes to handle their models after they're on the shelf, bring them down and admire your own work. Let's be honest, that's what we're doing. And that way you don't break what you spend so much time on. Then you're going to have to stop any current projects or future projects, because if you're like me, it's going to bug you, and you're going to have to, you can go back and do it. I mean, it's not that much of a problem. You will have to paint again and stuff like that, but it's all doable. You'll have to make a metal grab handle to replace the plastic one you just broke and insert it. And it'll be just fine. I wouldn't worry about it if that happens to you. If you choose not to go metal, that is your choice. Anyway, so also I wanted to talk about with my son's model. I used full model tracks, which you have to drill out completely with a micro drill bit, or the pin won't go through it. It just won't. Master Club. Now this is a 1/48 box, but it's the same company. Made in Russia. I think that's really apropos when you put it on a Soviet/Russian tank. They do a very good product. You don't have to sand anything. There's a couple detachment points from the mold that you have to just do a quick pass and knock it off. It's no big deal. Sometimes, in many cases, you can do it with your thumbnail, but just with a little light sand, you get it right off, and it's no big deal. Anyway, I show you my 1/35 tank, which is not normally my scale. My favorite scale is 1/48, and will continue to be that way. However, like I mentioned in other videos, there are some tanks I'm convinced will never be made in 1/48, and I have bought those in 1/35 because of it. But I only have 5 total. I don't have no plans to expand that. So I do want to make an appeal to several model manufacturers. One's Tamiya, Hobby Boss, and when they first came out, it was U-Star, and now they are Suyata. They make some great models, tanks in 1/48. I don't know what else they make as far as models. I just haven't looked into it because, like I say, my favorite is 1/48. So that's what I tend to focus on. But I would the appeal is that they would please, there goes my finger, create a 1/48 tank of the IS-3. And I'm also going to appeal to Zvezda. They, I don't believe, are into 1/48 tanks at all. I think it's mostly 1/35, 1/72. But the work I've seen from those scales, from watching other videos, is excellent. I would love to see a Russian company create the first 1/48 IS-3 tank. I want to pitch this to all companies, but especially to Zvezda. I have a IS-3 set of tracks in 1/48 waiting for the first manufacturer that will make the IS-3 in 1/48. I mean, I'm not going to even build this until someday, hopefully, some manufacturer will see to it to make that. I mean, like I said, I think because it didn't make combat, it's just not a priority because it has no World War II attachment as far as combat. It is pretty important, the debut it made in the Berlin Victory Parade, because like I said, the Allied generals were scared to death of it. I mean, it was. I mean, look at the front hull, the way it is. It's bowed in the front. They got rid of the bow gunner position, and it's just the driver and lead. So they have the center mass look when they're driving instead of the side mass. And I'm sure tankers, you can tell me that could be good and bad. Let me know. But and the half mushroom type turret, it just never been seen before in a tank to that point. And yes, I understand. If manufacturers won't do this, there's got to be some kind of economic reason for it. Possibly the 135 IS-3 doesn't sell very well. I don't know that to be true, though. I've seen many on Facebook model groups that make the IS-3. Soviet Union sold many to other countries and were involved in wars even in the 1960s. I don't think they did very well. Perhaps it's the training of the tankers of other countries that were in it. I don't know. I don't know the tankers. I'm sure somebody out there does. and can answer that question for us. But anyway, I'm just going purely on looks here. It's a really intimidating tank. It's got a great gun, just like the IS-2. And this IS-2 is made by Tamiya. I have another one I'm going to make and do something different with it. And perhaps instead of doing take museum quality finish, do some damage on it. I'm not normally the big damage kind of guy, but I just want to do one and see how I feel about it, and maybe I'll start doing it as a regular thing. But I want to tell you that this is the only IS-3 on the market, and this is heavily doctored by myself and my limited skills. So let's get you a close-up here. So on the grab handles, these I custom made. They were of one piece and looked terrible. I've added a more appropriate searchlight than what came with the kit. And the driver's hatch was circular that came molded on there. I cut that out of sheet plastic, added a periscope from another IS-2 kit. I think I've robbed a couple IS-2 kits to make other things. No regrets, because I'm happy with the work. Added some texture with the glue, model glue, and the gray putty from Tamiya, and added also some spare track to the front, as the IS-3s have, and I added these tow hooks right here, which the ones that came in the kit, I don't even know what they were supposed to resemble, because they didn't look like tow hooks at all. It's just a pure toy when you get this, and if you're okay with that, that's fine. It's nostalgia. You know, it's not an exact. This is something that makes me feel better. I feel good for having it on my shelf. I do. I put a lot of work into it, over a year off and on, and it's good for me to display it. Only that this is the best version of an Aurora tank from, I believe, 1972 it came out, that I can envision with my current skill set. However, if you put it next to the IS-2, you can see the scale's just a little bit off, possibly. But the turret's all wrong. When you look at the turret, the 135th IS-3, and you look at this one, you go, what the heck? They got the turret all wrong. And Aurora back then, I don't think when they envisioned this, they wanted to make a replica. Just someone a kid who could build a toy, play in the sandbox. That's fine. That's the past, and that's all there is to it. I just would like to see a 1/48th replica that we could all enjoy. And hopefully one or two of you out there, hopefully 1 or 2,000, feel that way and would like to see this made into a proper 1/48 scale model. So I also want to show you this. This is from the tracks for the IS-3 and 135th. You see the front and back pins, front to the left, back pins to the right. And it leaves a gap in the center, and it probably isn't necessary actually, but I cut some little copper slivers there to put in between, and it made me feel better that it was sturdier, that it had a metal part to it in the middle of these. It's not plastic, it's resin pins. So I'm sure it would have been fine. However, since I like to handle things a lot, I'd hate to see them break and then have to go back and fix them. I'd rather do it right the first time. So I'm hoping this kind of thing helped. It wasn't that big a deal to cut these copper pieces into a proper length and then putting the resin pins one on one side, one on the other. Actually, it was a lot of fun adapting that, so I have no regrets at all. As far as the 135th, I've got some figures, which I'm not known for my figures, but I want to try to do the cruise proud on this. And this is from Alpine. They have some really good figures. And I will be doing one that is stock from the kit, which I did for my sons as well. So, and I want to also, I mentioned this into a prior video, how generous Master Club is with extra tracks. I mean, this is after I built them out. And I don't know how it'll work out for 1/35 on how many extras they give you. However, on a previous video, I mentioned that Master Club were very grateful as 1/48 scale modelers in armor that Master Club came out with, I believe it's 4 different versions, KV1, also the IS-2, IS-3, and I'm always grateful when someone comes out with something really nice in 1/48. And I just want to show you this. Ciata and U-Star. This is a full interior in a 1/48 scale tank. And I thank them for making that. And kind of nervous about doing full interior. Never done one, but we'll see how it goes. And the other manufacturers, Hobby Boss, Tamiya. Grateful for all the 1/48 tanks you have made us. I really hope, and I did write something up on Zvezda's site on Facebook. I don't know how far it will go, if anyone will do something about what I'm advocating for, getting this on a 1/48 tank. But I hope they do it. It's a Russian company. I'd be excited to build my first Zvezda tank. I just don't, because I'm not going to expand my 1/35 line. And 1/72 I built in my youth, and there's no metal tracks for that. And I'm a big guy for metal tracks when I can, and adds a little more weight to the model, and perhaps a little more realism for me. It's something I like to do when I can. So sorry for this late video. It's been a couple weeks, but just because I've been out of town. Please like and subscribe and share my videos with others so I can expand the channel. And I will endeavor to get more interesting subjects out there. And hopefully I've shown you something today to think about and weigh in on. You may have no opinion at all and say nothing. That's fine. But thank you for watching my channel. As always, I appreciate you very much, more than you know. And I'll see you in the next one. It'll be less than 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.